In Allahabad, when Prabhupada was there in the Kumbh Mela, one Ramanandi, a Brahmin, came to see him. During the traveling of Bullock cart, we have stayed in his house, so we invited him to come to Allahabad. He wanted to know when Prabhupada will be in India, and he was there in Allahabad, so he has come to see. It was an Ekadasi day, and the Kumbh Snan is going to be happening in next day. And that day is the first Snan, first bathing, and then second bathing is going to happen. So Prabhupada is sitting, stretching his legs under his desk like this, and his feet are like that, and he is sitting back like that. So it's Ekadasi. So Prabhupada is talking about Ekadasi. And then Prabhupada says, Ekadasi, lotus feet fried in ghee. You see, that is very good for Ekadasi. And he is closing his eyes and shaking his head like this. Lotus seed fried in ghee. It was the best thing for Ekadasi. So somebody immediately went to arrange that just by hearing it, running out to the market. You know, Kumbh Mela is like filled with lakhs of people. 2 minutes later, this man arrives, this Ramanandi, Tilak, which is young son, maybe 9 years old. He comes and pays obeisances and he sits there, and he has a cloth tied up on his shoulder. And then he puts on Prabhupada's desk and he opens it. And Prabhupada looks at it and he puts his hand like this, a whole hand like that, and then like eating that. And then he said, just see, it was lotus seed fried in ghee. He just said it 2 minutes before. And he said, just see, it has come. And then he looks at the Ramanandi and he said, how are you? Prabhupada used to stay in a house of a Bengali in Ferozabad, one town there in UP. It's called Gaurnitai Bhavan. It's a Bengali. They have Gaurnitai deities at home, and this man happens to be their family priest. Even though he's a Ramanandi, he did the Gaurnitai worship for them. And he lives in a village. He has his young son. So Prabhupada takes little and then he gives out like that. Then he said, so you haven't taken bath in the confluence? In Hindi, he's saying, in Sangam you haven't taken bath? He said, Swamiji, I have come to take bath in Sangam. Then the next thing he does is he's got a plate, he's got a pot, and he puts the plate under Prabhupada's feet, just like this. And I was just behind Prabhupada's seat. So I could see that when he put the plate, Prabhupada just adjusted his feet on the plate, like putting his feet on his plate. And the next thing is he has got the Sangam water in his pot, and then he bathes Prabhupada's feet. And like this. And then he's chanting his mantras, and he's bathing Prabhupada's feet, and Prabhupada is looking at him, big smile on his face. And during that time, it was very rare to get Prabhupada's Charanamrit. We're talking of 77, So it's like it's 76 December. So everybody is just looking at it, and then so he takes the water and puts on his head and then drinks, and then he sprinkles on everybody. Then he says, your feet is the actual Sangam. Then he says, what will we get in bathing that Sangam? Then he shakes his head and he says that, actually, because your feet will make this Ganges purified, and I know you are not going there. You won't go there, so I brought the Ganga here. So then he said, part of it I will mix in the Ganga. And then Prabhupada just smiling like that. Then he said, give me your son. Says, I will make him Acharya. So then the man says, he is yours, Swamiji. You can take him any time. And Prabhupada says, no, any time means no time. You give him now. I will make him Acharya. So then he says, Swamiji, he is just learning grammar now in Sanskrit. So to study the Bhashyas, the commentaries, he must know some grammar. Once his Vyakaran is over, then I will hand him over to you. He is yours. And Prabhupada is insisting. He says, no, what grammar? You don't need grammar. You give him to me. I will make him Acharya. Now this was the fourth time Prabhupada was saying him. Then this man said, Swamiji, I am not saying no. Everything mine is yours. He said, but he is too small. He will be only a trouble for you. So just few more years, I will hand him over to you. And Prabhupada said, okay. ठीक है. Then he extended his hand like this and rubbed this boy's head like that. And then there were other visitors, the All India radio was coming, so, this man left. And then so many years passed by and I'm taking Gurukul boys to Allahabad, Ardha Kumbh Mela, for them to see the different groups and akhadas and learn something, laboratory work. So I have about 10 Gurukul boys with me, and I have heard during that time that the Ramananda Sampradaya, after so many years, they were broken into lot of sects. And especially the sadhu sect of their group was not interacting with the other groups. But that year I heard that they have elected one leader for their Sampradaya, for the whole Sampradaya, which was like, difficult to believe. They will never come together. They were all fighting. And now they have selected one man as the supremo of all their sect. So there was a huge Ramananda stall there, the camp. So I told the boys that you should see this, because God knows tomorrow one of you may be becoming a guru. So you should see this, how this is being done. He has united this whole Sampradaya. It is very unheard of. And I heard that he's a very young sannyasi. So we will go and have his darshan. So we went to see him. And because I had South Americans and Australians, so we were given a little priority. So we go forward, and he was sitting with the heads of the different akhadas there. There was about 100 people there. They were all men with long beards and matted locks of hair, and they were all like 3 times elder than him. And this very young man sitting there on the big seat, and few people doing chamara for him. And so we went in and we paid obeisances, and one devotee, one Gurukul boy, Prem Vikas from South America, loudly chanted the Sannyas Sukta, which is a tradition to greet sannyasis. And as he started chanting, everybody just became silent. And this Maharaj, young Maharaj, was sitting there, and then he heard it. And then after he finished chanting, I heard him saying, there's no microphone or anything, and everybody is silent. And I just heard him saying, and I heard it was a poetry. He's composing a poetry straight there in Sanskrit. And that was about Prabhupada. So he is saying, the Acharya of the Hare Krishna movement, he starts like that. Then he says that if I say, like, this is the sloka he has composed, he said that if I say that neither in the past nor in the future, if I say this word, that neither in the past nor in the future, there will be an Acharya equal to him, I won't be committing an offense to the founder of my line, who is Ramananda. Then he says, because Ramananda has predicted that Vishnu worship will spread around the world, and it will be done in a very easy way, and the whole world will take to it. And then he said that he has done in his commentary a prediction about this. Then he said this, and as he was talking, I just realized this was that same small boy who Prabhupada just rubbed his head like this, and then he was telling him, the same person. I can hear his voice, and then I saw him moving. I said, but this is the same person. So then he finished that. That is where this slogan came from. Nacha bhuto na bhavishyati. We print in our Centennial magazine. That was his composition. Nacha bhuto na bhavishyati. Neither in the past nor in the future. So then he finished the sloka, 4 slokas on Prabhupada glorification. It ended with glorification of Jagannath. And then he called each boy separately and gave them pavitrams and all the honors that he gives to the gurus in his line. He gave them each one. You take this, take this, like that. And then I went up. Then he said, he looked at me and he said, Atma Tattva Prabhu, you remember me? And then he said, you used to carry me on your back. When we were staying in his house, that was the, that was the thing. He was calling Loknath Maharaj old man because he had this white hair. So I was carrying him on my back. I was a brahmachari, carrying this boy on my back. So he remembered that. Then he said that Prabhupada